Hey everyone, Paul Uhl here with Chase Bliss Audio. So you found yourself in gear heaven. You went out and bought a Boss ES-8 and now you want to use it with your Chase Bliss pedals. I'm going to show you how to assign any one of these buttons to control any parameter on those Chase Bliss pedals. Alright, another cool feature of the Boss ES-8 is you can assign any one of these switches to send control changes to the warp vinyl, or any Chase Bliss pedal. What does that mean? Well, okay. Listen to the RPM when I play this chord. Very slow. It's actually at minimum. When I step on mute, two things are going to happen. The LED is going to come on, and the RPM is going to go up to about 75%. Here we go. Let's see how to do that. Okay, we're going to change a lot of parameters here, so I don't know. Get a piece of paper, get a pencil, write it down. I know I had to. Let's give this a try. We got to do a couple things here. We got to tell the warped vinyl that we want to affect the RPM with a control change. So we need to enter the menu, scroll over to Control Expression. We're going for the control stuff. Press Enter. Well, I scrolled all the way to the left, and you'll see the first one is Memory Manual. Next one over is Mute. That's this button. Bank down, and so on and so forth. We're going to change the mute, so we want to enter Mute. Right now, it's functioning as the mute. We want to turn that off. There it is, off. And we're going to exit out of this. Now, within these are all those same parameters that we were just going through a minute ago. We want to keep going all the way over to these assignments. I have things assigned in some of these already, so we're going to jump up to assignment 10. You can use 1 if you haven't done any yet. I'm going to use 10 because I need a blank one to start with. Alright, so when you get into the chosen assignment, I'm using assignment 10. You see all this really confusing stuff. Believe me, I was confused when I first saw this stuff. Who knows what any of this stuff means? But I can show you how to make it work. So what we need to do is tell it that we want to make the mute switch have an assignment. Right now, the switch is turned to off. We want to turn it to on. The source is which button are we using? Which switch? We're using the mute switch. So I've entered mute. Mode, you have different mode options. We want toggle. I'll show you what the other one is in a moment. That's a momentary. Kate is actually category. We want MIDI. There are several options. You'll see LED in a minute. We want MIDI. So our warped vinyl, as we already discussed, is on channel 5. So where do we want to send this MIDI signal to? We want to set it to channel 5. And once again, that CC number is by default 80 on the Boss ES-8. We actually want to make that number 17. And why number 17? 17 is the number assigned to the RPM on the warped vinyl. You'll have to look in your manual to get these numbers. Each one is different. A different number is assigned to different knobs on the pedal. Moving along. So minimum and maximum, what that is asking us is when the switch is off, where do we want the knob set to? If we want it to modulate a little bit, let's just make it 20. Maximum is 127. That would be as if the knob was all the way up. We don't want it that crazy. Let's dial it back a little bit and say 100. So 0 would be all the way counterclockwise, so we're going to be a little bit up from there. Maximum would be 127, we're a little bit up from there. So we're going to toggle somewhere between those two extremes. This second page, I don't even know what that is. So now we're going to write that to the pedal. So now when we play, that switch is toggling up to that higher RPM. And that brings it back down. So now the only thing missing from this equation is that LED. Let's go assign that. It's kind of similar to the way we just did the other one. That was assignment 10. We have to use a different assignment for that LED. Let's just make it number 11. So once again, we need to turn the switch on. We're going to talk about this switch right here. And the source, it's asking you which switch. The mute switch. Toggle up to mute. Once again, we want it on toggle. Category. It's going to be obvious. LED. And then target, it's saying, well, which LED on the Boss ES-8 do you want to light up? Unfortunately, you can't light up the one that's right under the switch because that would be most intuitive. So I'm going to do the one right next to it. That's the bank down. You could choose others. But mute is not available because we're using it. At the minimum, it would be off, and on the maximum, it would be on. So basically that's saying when this switch isn't engaged, the LED is off. When we depress it, it'll turn on. And we're going to write that now. So now when I play, the RPM jumps up and the LED comes on, which is quite handy because it's just a visual thing to kind of let you know that that's going to happen. Okay, one last thing. I promised that I would show the momentary mode. I'm going to go back into these parameters. Let's fix our 10 first. So we had it on toggle. Let's change that to momentary. Exit out of there. Go to 11. Same thing, we want to change that toggle to momentary. Write it. And all that means is instead of that switch latching, it just does that while I'm stepping on it momentarily, hence momentary. And when I release, it's off. The LED behaves in the same manner.